How's it going, everyone? Hope you enjoying your Thursday. A nice good old Thursday, ain't it? That. Now, who's ready to go back into the desert? Cause actually, I don't mind desert levels. I actually don't. Actually, I discovered something. I might have discovered. No, I did. Because I was. No, I think I do have the thing for a monkey visit. I think. So I was like, where would the third spot for meditation be in the mountain? It was right here. I do have a thing for monkey visit, and that's good to know. Oh right, long scales. I forgot. Swift bat. In shadows deep, the bat guy lies, far from clamor, under the skies. In moonlit hues, blood it sips, as through yellow wind it slips. After the harvest, the rent man arrived in the village. The villagers cleaned a long abandoned manor for his stay and treated him to a sumptuous feast, full of food and drink. The village chief spoke directly. The rent is a heavy burden on us. Is there any possibility to reduce it? The rent collector replied, The rent has been determined by your lord. I am but a paid man tasked with the taking of what is due. I have no power to change it. The talk turned to an unending argument. As dusk approached, the villagers hastily left. An old whittler lingered, offering a suggestion to the rent man. Our village offers little amusement, but on that hill there's a pavilion fine for moon gazing. Should you grow weary, 'tis a place to ease your mind. With these words he too departed. That night the rent man, lantern in hand, pondered his ledgers and the day's dispute ahead. Seeking solace, he walked towards the pavilion, but as he stepped into the courtyard, a figure descended on wings of flesh, claws for hands, and a maw of pointed teeth. Terrified, he fled, only to be ambushed by a similar creature lurking in the trees. The Bat-Gwai squabbled over him, for the first bite chittering and chattering. Seeing them locked in a stalemate, the Rentman drew a blade from his belt and beheaded one. The other sprang, fangs bared towards him, but he dodged and with a struggled roll. That night, the Rentman and the Bat dogfought. Fangs and blade clashed until dawn. Come morning, villagers came to the manor to prepare the Rentman his morning meal, only to find him sitting by the door, blade at his side, pinning two dead headless bat corpses to the earth. In the days that followed, they paid their full rent and hosted another rich feast, sending the Rentman back to town with due respect. Back scratcher! In serene emptiness, troubles fade, with a scratcher itches gently evade. I mean, I have to. What are my current curios? Increases critical hit chance, so that will get down to 5%, but I get more stamina. Do I want this? It's more health overall, but that's immediately.
Where they...
Oh. $40 to
If only
45.
I could drink this with my old friend. Drink, drink. It can lead to success.
Was it here? Yes, it was there because there was the waterfall. Interesting, the bandit was a unique...
For what deed must his head be hung for all to see? For what deed must the waters they govern roam free. For what they must all matters not known how to be. For what deed must mercy's hand so woe upon thee? For what deed must the red one into the woods flee? Smoke rising high from wood afire, hit the back, let the beasts respire, as in mist thunders conspire.
Thundertail. Frozen Sensor. We need a Thundertail and something else, and of course, 4 refined iron sand. That's more of like a pillar move thing. I like my smash. With long slain dead of sword's swift lunge into the void, its head did plunge. But it does do more damage, so there's also that. Mod increases defense. It's slightly worse than the thing. Incense, sweet aroma, prayers ascend. Longevity's blessing, sufferings end. Oh, right. Thundertail, Pearl. Redlong. Smoke rises high from wood of fire. Hit the back, let the beats respire. As in mist, thunders conspire. After the case of Old Long King of Jing River was settled, the Long princes found themselves facing an uncertain future. Following the journey west, rewards were given based on merit, but only the Long princes alone awaited judgment. Heightening their anxiety, they sought out Yan Shonsheng and asked him for a sign of their fortunes. The sign showed the Long lies hid, not a time for action, which became a thorn in their hearts. Among them, the most concerned were the 4 Longs who governed the 4 rivers and well knew the might of those above. They took the initiative to resign, hoping to save their lives by retreating, yet the letters they submitted to the court were all returned. Time flew by, and one day, Yan Shuncheng sought out the 4 Longs. He relayed that the signs had shifted to "the Long lies hid, it stirs in the deep," indicating a favorable time for action. Upon hearing this, the 4 Longs left their underwater abode and went their separate ways to plan their next moves. Red Long was quite astute. Knowing the Black Bear Guai was greedy for treasures and had the protection of Guan Yin, he bartered all his valuable possessions of Black Bear Guai in exchange for an ideal cave nestled in the mountains. Afterward, he went into seclusion in the cave and slept for many years. One day, he awoke and wanted to soar up the sky and stretch his body again, but he found he could hardly climb the clouds. He remembered an ancient saying, "When a Long wishes to ascend the sky, it must first climb the claw wood." He wielded his thunderbolt tail to carve out a set of claw wood in the mountain to help him fly, but it was still to no avail. Red Long was unwilling to accept defeat and sought help from Black Bear Guai. Although the Black Bear Guai was not good at flying, he couldn't resist the chance for profit that presented itself. He sold the Boshan censer he had brought from Guan's palace to Red Long, claiming that the censer would create clouds and smoke. He cited a passage from ancient texts to persuade Red Long. A Long cannot traverse without clouds. Red Long believed this to be true. He embedded the censer on his back and burned his will to forcibly create smoke from it. When one censer was not enough, he added another. Each time the censers made smoke, they greatly consumed his will. Yet the help they provided was very limited. Although Red Long could use it to fly again, the flight could never compare to the old days. He could only reside wearily among the claw woods. Alas, to think that the world harbors such vexing realities. A skill once mastered can fade with neglect. Such is the nature of all knowledge. If not applied, it withers away to nothing in the end. How lamentable. Oh. Alright, I think that was all I needed to do for cleanup in Blackwind Mountain. Let us go to Crouching Tiger Temple. Alright. So, there was like another way down this path. So, let's see, that's where I fought the Sun King. Ho ho! Trying to hide pills from me, are you? Stamina pill! They try to hide stamina pills from me. But they were defeated. treasure chest. Blood of iron bull, gold. Oh, meditation. Oh, I got all my butmots back. Damn.
Bloody hell. What's the hold-up this time? Soak your offerings, and don't breed more rats. If you dare to muck up the king's practice again, I'll serve your dimwit son up for supper. Myself. Ain't you that old loser? Where'd you come from? You bird-faced mug. Who cares anyway? I'll gobble you up first. Take this!
In ruins, the Tiger brothers led the remaining lesser Guais in a bitter struggle for survival. Fortunate their father taught them enough to make a living. As the sandstorms ebbed, rock Guais slowly restored the groves to their former state. The elder Tiger, following his late father's ways, governed the Yao Guais in the mountain. Each knew their place and dare not prowl forth to prey on the living. Later, mortals drawn by the lush peaks and clear springs built a village amid the slopes. The elder Tiger gained renown as a deity in the mountain with the principle devour the evil and shield the good. The villagers built a crouching tiger temple for the brothers, offering rich tributes that made their lives even more blissful. Yet long had the younger nursed a grievance. His elder brother reaped all the glory in people's words on the tigers in the mountain. He believed his brother earned this merely by the dint of a few more years of life. Another century turned, and Yellowwind Sage returned to Yellowwind Ridge with a host of rat guys. Younger Tiger declared that it was the sage's negligence that had doomed their father. He clamored to slay the sage in vengeance, urging his brother to drive off the rats. Deeming this just, the elder agreed. But in that fight, the sage unleashed a vessel like a oh dear, Burhishtava's severed head. With its scale sharp as an edge, in a single clash, the younger tiger fell grievously wounded. For the life of his little brother, the elder tiger at once cast down his arms and knelt in surrender. The sage held no grudge after learning of the brother's origin. He even bestowed upon the surrenderer the title of Vanguard. When the younger tiger woke and learned his brother now served as the Vanguard, he seethed in disbelief. The brothers quarreled bitterly until the younger stormed off, severing all ties with the only family he had left. In the tiger Vanguard's eyes, that yellow-furred rat had twice destroyed his family and left them broken and scattered. He hated him for that, but he was no fool. As long as the rat had protection from the higher ones, what more could a tiger do beyond venting his rage by devouring a few lesser rats each day? Oh. How do I change Cloud Step? Is there not a way to... One moment. Oh, I have to go to the Keeper's Shrine. Okay.
气数比日月，三味妙法照三海。要想见那黄毛书经，必须要得心服口令，一个不够凑一双。那所来父母不是眼对上。
Sternest of stone. I should probably go and rest and get all my stuff back. Not avoidness. Copper pill. After using gore, the next rock solid costs no mana for a short duration. Famished, he died on iron pellets. Parched, he supplied on molten copper. For 5 centuries, not a morsel of tea nor rice. That sounds Terrible. Withered corpse. In my lowly life the end is here, still adrift my body lingers there. Once suffered the wicked wind's cruel sting, no peace shall wandering ever bring. In the shadow of Yellowwind Ridge, where gusts weave labyrinths of sand, trade seldom reached here save for a lone hamlet downhill, the only bazaar in the land. Among the market stands an Everlife shop stood as the sole purveyor of coffins. On that fateful day, the shopkeeper idled inside when a man lumbering gait, garbed like a beggar. As the shopkeeper rose to shoo him, the man spoke, "Hold, sir, I've come not to beg, but to buy coffins." With quiet words, he told of his village laid to ruin by bandits and his need for 4 coffins to lay the dead to rest. Suspicious but intrigued, the shopkeeper agreed to trade in their native herbs, soyang and congron. I think I pronounced that last one wrong. The shopkeeper gathered his lads and followed the man, with 4 coffins on an ox cart. Laboring through sand and wind, they reached the village at dusk. Here the man muttered, "All life ends and returns to earth. These winds can do no harm, and if our bodies are not properly buried, our souls might be twisted. Please, sir, bury my family with these coffins. We had Soyang and Kongron in our hearth. Take as much as you like." And with that, he vanished. Entering the village, the shopkeeper found all living things slaughtered, not a soul left alive. There before a grand dwelling lay the man and his kin long dead. Hurriedly they entombed the 4 corpses atop a scenic cliff, took nothing, and fled for their lives. Spearbone. In a world where paths are never clear, where directions are oft lost in fear, in the spear tipped a mighty and noble stand, behind the shield a pride so grand. Priests of Windrest were proud warriors. Their shields were emblazoned with the tiger, and they danced with crescent-shaped spears, commanding a presence that frightened off Gwais. During funerals, they would lead the procession, striking their shields to proclaim themselves as leading generals. The priests held a high status in Windrest. Even the minor Gwais of the mountain would frequently offer them rare delicacies, hoping to ensure their peace and to avoid being banished. One day, a settler noticed an increase in the mountain's Gwai population and sought the advice of the sorcerers. Dismissive, the priests responded, "The Gwais and us we inhabit the same mountains, an encounter would be inevitable. Since they present us with tributes, we might as well spare them." A few years later, strange winds began to sweep across the valley, stirring up chaos. The Gwais ran wild, causing trouble frequently. Dressed in their warriors attire, the priests raised their shields and ventured into the settlement to confront the unruly Gwais. Yao Guai, the Gwais. However, the Gwais, why does it sound weird now? Yao Guai. The Gwais didn't fear them. The priest's spears and shields, which were once their pride, could only repel a few minor ones before they were surrounded. The leader, a red-robed rat, sneered. We had peace only because of the Bodhishita meditating up on these mountains. You mortals surely didn't think you could actually defeat us, did you? Seeing the priests unable to repel the Gwais, instead provoking their anger, the settlers locked the gate of Windrest, demanding that the Gwais be expelled before they could return. The priests met their end on the mountains, remaining in their battle stances, now haunting unruly travelers. Rat Imperial Guard. Yin prevails, Yang's essence fades, adored in finery, blades parade. Once malice stirs within the heart, words become weapons tearing apart. Since the Yellow Wind King had sequestered himself within the valley, his hoarded treasures were left to the care of his trusted minions. One day, when a purple gold incensory vanished from the half-emptied storeroom, the rumor of theft, once a mere murmur, built into a anxious clamor, until the rat Gwai who guarded the storeroom was finally accused of pilfering from his own charge. The tale reached the ears of the rat Imperial Guards. Clad in crimson, they were the secret Imperial enforcers. They went to interrogate the rat guard, hoping for a share of the spoils, but the humiliated guard was found lifeless, his neck wedged in a noose dangling in his ceiling. With his death, the gossip mongers painted the Imperial Guards as vilifiers of the innocent, coercing false confessions. With no means to defend themselves, the Imperial Guards launched a thorough inquiry, desperate to clear their names. Fortune struck when they unearthed the incensory within the nest of the rat guard's apprentice. The crowd's scorn shifted, branding the young apprentice a betrayer and a vicious soul. Yet, in the face of the Imperial Guard's iron grip, the apprentice unfurled a new thread of the story. The incensory had been pilfered by the civet sergeant as a tribute to Tiger Vanguard. It was the apprentice who, learning of his master's unjust fate, dared to retrieve it in secret. Verified by the Imperial Guards, the tale swayed public sentiment once more, from jeers to praise. Those whispers are like a fickle breeze. Soon was murmured that the thieving chief acted not out of greed, but out of a son's duty to rescue his mother from the bowels of the Tiger Temple. The crowds murmured anew, their judgment as shifting as the sands. Alas, what is a grain of truth in a desert of tales? Actions taken in the cloak of shadows are often proclaimed in light as something else entirely. Perhaps it is the angle from which we plead our case that crafts a different truth. And when a truth finds the light, it is often because some prefer an audience blind to the rest of the story. Will and silk.
Stand ready. We.
Tiny gold and silk. Sobering stone. A foul-scented stone, perfect for sobering up that drunken pig. Even in drowsiness, his heart's clarity remains. Whomst? I haven't found no piggy. It's gonna be unpleasant, I can tell. So is this a gank, or are you just gonna throw shit at me? Oh, it's a gank.
You shall meet your end here and now.
Oh! Mr. Imperial Guard. Hmm. Alright. It's that time of day, so I'm gonna go walk at the dog. And we'll be back with us in a bit. and I have returned from walking the dog, which means we return to Wukong. Alright, hero. Oh, invincibility from motherfucker! No. Oh. Monkey. Monkey. Upgrade my gourd monkey.
Drink, drink. It can lead to success.
Yeah, black core. Let's go for upgrade. Oh. You're a dude, aren't ya? He's just standing there, menacingly.
Your life for my son. Is my karma. I shouldn't have. With all my skills.
Tiger's acolyte. Where has the swordsman gone with tears in his eyes? The wild wind sweeps the northern sands, a lone shadow neath barren skies. Grass visits the empty village huts, dusk greets the host, now a gwai. His heart's a buried tomb, his love but dust and sighs. There was once a swordsman, wild and free, who roamed the lands far and wide. For the love of a woman he forsook his wandering ways, married and had a child. But the happenings proved fleeting. For the mountains beyond the city walls there arose a wind, fierce and full of malice. It whipped the yellow dust into a frenzy, and the city was choked with it, day after day. Soon his wife succumbed to a wasting sickness, and the child too became ill. The man was devastated. He spent all his silver in a vain attempt to heal his child. But then he heard of a Bodhisattva in the new Mount Sumeru, who could cure the wind sickness. With haste he got what he still had and set forth with his child. When he reached Mount New Sumeru, the disciples told him that the Bodhisattva had departed for Yellow Wind Ridge long ago and had not returned. The man had no choice but to take his child and set out once more. When they arrived at the ridge, they learned that this place was right next to the fierce wind. The child's frail condition worsened with each passing hour. They took shelter in the village of Windrest, where the child rested, and the man went to find the Bodhisattva. One day, while passing a dry well outside the village, the man heard a tiger's roar. He climbed down into the well and found a hidden cavern, where a great tiger lay, wounded and weak, deep in meditation. The tiger told the man he was a deity in the mountain, revered by the village priests. In the valley they had even raised a temple in his honor. He said he'd been ambushed by the Yao Guai that stirred up the fierce wind and took over his temple. That's why he was in this pitiful state. The man was doubtful, but he asked around the village. He found that the tale was true in every detail, from the reverence of the priest to the temple in the valley. He hastened back to the well, his ailing child in his arms, and begged the tiger for healing. The tiger brought out a strangely shaped gourd, filled it with water, and gave it to the child. Wonder of wonders, after drinking from the gourd, the child was able to run and play as he had before the wind sickness struck. The tiger told the man that the wind had harmed his essence. With the flesh of the living he could regain its former might, then he could tame the raging wind and heal the child completely. The man was reluctant, but as he watched his son grow stronger day by day, playing in the village with the other children, a terrible resolve hardened in his heart. He began to lead the unsuspecting villagers into the well, hoping to restore the tiger to its former strength. As time passed, most naturally, the villagers found out what he had done. By the time the man returned to the village, he found his son slain by their angry hands. The man was consumed by regret and drew the sword he had sealed away for years. He fell upon the villagers, and one by one he cut them down, until the streets ran red with blood. Then alone he set out into the shifting sandstorm, lost in the ever-howling wind.
I failed.
Glaze Relic. Oh, right, curious. While perfect dodging recovers a small amount of stamina. Embracing destiny, one stands firm against fortune or misfortune. Mastering the heart, one remains balanced amid joy and anger. do believe this is probably on the other side of where one can reach from this side. I wonder. Because I don't want to jump down now. Oh. All right. Alrighty, let's see what's on the other side of the map. Why is my toe itching? Why is it so? Sorry about that, my one foot was like in tingles. It's very distracting. stone. I'm gonna go get my drink before I do this. The mystic's art breathes life into stone. A servant bestowed, but caution be shown. A nature fierce, beware its provocation, for crossing its path brings fatal devastation. Once upon a time there was a pretentious scholar who took great pride in a paperweight he collected. Whenever his guests commented that it was merely an ordinary stone with no notable features, the scholar would respond by sharing a particular tale. During his adventurous youth, the scholar embarked on a treacherous journey. Exhausted and seeking respite, he leaned against a massive stone for a snooze. Suddenly, he felt the stone come alive. Skeletons emerged from its crevices, and the stone sprouted limbs, resembling a grotesque creature. Terrified, the scholar ran for his life until he stumbled upon a desolate valley where he noticed a gaunt monk meditating on top of a boulder. Struck by the particular sight, he contemplated fleeing once more, yet to his astonishment he sensed a relentless pursuit of the stone creature from behind. Just as he stood on the very verge of being crushed, the very boulder beneath the monk unexpectedly rose, revealing two mighty arms that pummeled and shattered the pursuing creature. Amidst this terrifying clash, the scholar barely managed to escape, and the paperweight he claimed was a remnant of that cataclysmic fight. The guests erupted into laughter upon hearing the tale, mocking the scholar for spicing up his wild dream to impress them. The scorned scholar, though indignant, began to doubt the truth of the tale himself and lost interest in the paperweight. Eventually, he banished it to a forgotten corner, never to be shown again. It's you guys, but you don't have shield. The Fright Cliff. Buddha's eyeball. Chanting Buddha heads may be inlet last. They found the monks worth wanting, and so they tore down his temple and destroyed his Buddha. That's quite rude. Never touching a man's Buddha. pale stone. Mighty and strong, its presence grand, with secret quartz, like shimmering sand. Chosen for the righteous, a sacred embrace, nature's justice reflected in its grace. In a small kingdom west of the Black Wind Mountain, the aging king lived in constant fear of his dwindling lifespan. Desperate to find the elixir of longevity, he embarked on a frantic search for a solution. One day, an immortist informed the king that consuming quartz could extend his life and bestow eternal youth. Upon hearing this, the king immediately issued a royal decree commanding his subjects to scour the lands in search of quartz. Eager to claim their reward, stone miners ventured deep into the desolate Yellow Wind Ridge. There they came across a stone being of enormous head adorned with brilliant white mineral quartz. News of the discovery reached the king, who promptly dispatched his crown prince with an army to collect the precious quartz. Little did they know that as they ventured into the ridge, they would be enveloped by swirling dust and relentless yellow winds. Cunning and treacherous, the stone beings lurked beneath the earth, lying in wait. Whenever someone approached, they would swarm out in a coordinated ambush, ensnaring their unsuspecting prey from both sides. The army suffered heavy casualties before obtaining even a trace of the coveted quartz. In a state of desperation, a messenger was dispatched to the capital, bearing a plea of withdrawal that detailed the perilous expedition and the dreadful calamities befalling the men. However, the aged king remained steadfast in his resolve, insistent on obtaining a substantial amount of quartz. Eventually, the crown prince returned with the coveted quartz and an army halved, and requested to present the precious mineral to his father in the royal chamber. Seizing the opportunity, he initiated a coup, plunged a knife into the king's heart, leaving him to die, holding his cherished quartz of longevity on his bed. Only missing 3 of the lesser Yaguai, 4 chiefs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kings, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 characters. Mind Core and Silk Core. poise stone. So many stones back to back. Agile and extraordinary, with strength untold, and delicate in form, light as his feathers hold. Pure beauty, untouched by mortal's trace, proud as a frost-kissed maiden's grace. Before obtaining the Stone of Essence, the Mother of Stones was originally a blue quartz in the shape of a woman. The blue quartz had a unique ability to absorb the essence of the moon. Through ages of absorption, she obtained enlightenment earlier than other stone guais and was honored as the mountain deity. When the Buddha head stone guai appeared, the other stone guais convened and decided to expel the guai from the mountain. They sought the help of the Mother of Stones, however she refused, fearing the possibility of her blue quartz being shattered in battle. Yet on the day of battle, seeing that the stone guais were on the verge of defeat, she could no longer bear to stand by and decided to join the fight. Noticing the pale stones launching their quartz like a barrage of arrows to sneak attack the Buddha-headed guai, she imitated their action despite her deep attachment to her precious quartz. Despite their best efforts, they were still losing. When her blue quartz was shattered by a punch, the Mother of Stones fell to the ground in despair. Unexpectedly, a yellow-furred leading a group of Yao guais came to their aid. Seeing her grievance, the rat persuaded, "What is broken is destined not to return. If we let the guai escape, won't it be an even greater loss?" Hearing this, the Mother of Stones regained her strength and rose up. Together they subdued the Buddha-headed stone guai. As compensation for her loss, the ill-furred rat gifted her the stone essence. With the essence bestowed, the Mother of Stones gained great powers, yet as her form grew less mobile, she crafted poise stones from blue quartz, reflections of her former self, to watch over the mountain's happenings. Perhaps she did this to glimpse what she once was, what never could return.
Some bastard has got me trapped on this rock with his spell. Even the rocks on the ridge have come to life. In that cave, there's a rock guai lurking, holding secrets, I bet. Should you uncover the reason, I shall find my way out. Rocks turning into guais, 'tis no small matter. In that cave, there's a rock guai lurking. Should you uncover...
Okay. He's reading all my movements. Tis a sad day when your inputs get read by a rock. Oh god. Got 3 eyes. That's eyeball number 4. Okay. poise stone. We're right beside where we came out of from facing up against Tiger Acolyte. Oh, you bitch. Mother of Stones. As fate aligns, chance plays its part. Yet misfortune leaves an empty heart. Judge not a hero by skill alone, but by the fortune that they have shown. Long ago, in a yellow wind ridge lived two mountain deities. By the grace of a wise one, they came in possession of a great Yaoguai's inner pill. They split and consumed it, gaining great powers from within. Henceforth, they bore the shape and heart of humans. In gratitude, they bent their newfound strength to make the mountain's wilds thrive for the wise one. The keeper of the mountain, however, received no share of this boon. Envy wormed its way into his heart upon learning that the deities could conjure rock guais at will. He schemed to wrest this power for himself. Little did he know their conjurations drained deeply from their own will. The mountain deities poured out their own power to give birth rock-wise, who shaped crag and stone and nurtured green and bloom. Day by day, the keeper of the mountain sought to pilfer their practice and cultivation through low deceits. Then came a day when a great rock gwai emerged, and the lesser gwais bowed to him as their vanguard. Still, the keeper, heedless of his peril, provoked strife as he had done before. Blow after blow, the stone vanguard rained upon him until he lay pummeled in the dirt. Even then, he did not cease hurling curses. Alas, those who are bent on wickedness find few obstacles in their path, while those who pursue virtue encounter many hardships, often set by those with ill intentions. And I'll be right back. I returned. Stone essence, cluster of azure gravel obtained from the shadow remains of the Mother of Stones. The intertwined essence of yin and yang remains unbroken, forever woven. Now let's give this to the good sir.
One. I finally got my hands on the treasure! You still here, eh? You ain't expecting us back, are you? Shameful! Be gone, you greedy inept wretch! Get lost, you disgrace! Get lost! Right. Bother you. Oh, you got me skull! Mercy! Mercy! Mercy!
Azure Dust. From Azure Dust, a rock gwai stands robust. Transform into a rock gwai, immune to all four banes, and build up might when hit.
You ain't expecting another treasure, are you? You wicked twerp.
Man in stone. When fortune fades, speak not of past delight. In times of joy, recall the memory's bright blight. A single thought of greed can cloud the mind. Each step in anger binds, leaving wisdom blind. According to common sense, the local keeper and the mountain deity should work together harmoniously. However, this was not the case in Yellow Wind Ridge. Years ago, when the Yellow Wind Sage led his followers to subdue Buddha-headed Stone Gwai, he sought the keeper's assistance in battle. The keeper, however, chose to remain a bystander. Consequently, when the Gwai's essence was divided and distributed, only the mountain deities received a share, leaving the keeper empty-handed and filled with resentment. Knowing his own abilities were mediocre and lacking any significant divine powers or backing, the keeper believed that obtaining the essence would grant him great powers, akin to those of the mountain deities. Thus, when the Father of Stones departed and the Yellow Wind Sage surrendered, he harbored malicious intentions towards the Mother of Stones. He observed the valley for many days, noting how the Stone Gwais were busy moving mountains and shaping stones, while the Mother of Stones merely issued commands from her stone cave. This gave him an idea. One day he transformed himself to resemble a stone gwai and pretended to be on an errand to approach the Mother of Stones. His plan was to ram into her abdomen with all his might, hoping to crack her open, extract the essence. However, just as he leapt, the Mother of Stones let out a piercing scream, and several stone gwais emerged from the ground nearby. Distracted, the keeper missed his mark and only managed to create a crack of the Mother of Stone's chest. Realizing his plan had been exposed, he clung to her, attempting to absorb her power with all his might. By the time the stone gwais pried him off, he had absorbed half of her essence. Enraged, the stone gwais chased and attacked him relentlessly. The keeper, unable to escape, tried to revert to his original form to fight back. To his mistake, he found himself unable to change back, likely because the stone essence had transformed him into a stone. The stone gwais continued to batter him until he was buried in the ground. From then on, the keeper lost all hope and resigned himself to being a broken stone in the valley. Yet he still believed that if he obtained the other half of the essence, he might be able to transform back. Well, you didn't, did you?
But I can't be handing it over to you for free. Come back later to trade with Will. Easy there. I'll need a bit of time to get restocked.
You turn into a merchant? Didn't expect that.
For what deed must his head be hung? deed, must the waters they govern roam free? For what deed must all matters not known how to be? For what deed must mercy's hand shower upon thee? For what deed must those
Resident waves and victory is yours.
Well, I think I got all the eyes of the chanting is anything to go by. I wonder why the ginseng and the mushrooms have guais that spring from the earth and not like licorice. Look at this big boy.
Raise thy cup, seek answers on high. Who defies death neath every sky? Oh, I messed up my mission. Go find something to sober me up. How refreshing. You woke me up. Thanks. Enough with the chit-chat. My belly's growling. I must quench this rumbling in my belly first. The Temple of Crouching Tiger. They say there's meat there. Worth a look.
Guessing I might need the other, because there was tigers, glare, and stern stone were the two items I needed to
For
open.
what deed must his head be hung for all to see? For what deed must the waters they govern roam free? For what deed must all matters not known how to be? For what deed must mercy's hand so woe? For what deed must
Slurp. Spearbone. They took your hair, my lad. Your hair. Hello. Candy Graham. Black Lord. I can take him. I can take him. You ain't too tough, Mr. Blacklung. Mr. Blacklung, were you in the British coal mines, yes, sir? Whew. Fine iron sand, long barrel. Thunderbone. And Trikanda Pendant. I have long heard that my esteemed neighbor enjoys the splendor of the Jade Palace and the Pearl Pavilion. Surely you must have some treasures to spare for me. Slight increases cooldown rate of all spells. Oh, grants considerable damage reduction when guards retreat. Okay. Black Long. With iron whiskers and devouring lips, twin hammers held in fierce embrace. Lightning sparks, powerful force, in thunder's roar, he holds his place. Long had the fisherman beside the river G, spoken of Black Long, dwelling far beneath the waters in the 9 depths. Upon its neck rested a pearl of wisdom, said to grant great enlightenment to any who held it. A prize beyond its the worth of gold. Many had braved the depths to find this fabled gem, yet few have been fortunate enough to return. With bitter tears they told of the perils below, of returning with nothing to show for their trials, and worse, of facing the wrath of the fearsome Long Prince. Armed with twin hammers that summoned forth the fury of thunder, the prince could smite those before him, leaving nothing but dust. Long ages passed, yet still there were those who sought the pearl. Among the people it was whispered that when the river Xi burst its banks and the waters rose in a wrathful flood, it was surely the doing of the Long Prince, his wrath roused by the trespassers of those who sought his treasure. In hopes of appeasing him, they built a grand and splendid temple, where they offered worship and tribute to the Lord of the watery depths. Then came a day when a young man arrived, clad in a midnight hue, with a necklace of moon-pale stones around his neck. He named himself a master thief with skills beyond compare. Though all cautioned him against earning the Long Prince's wrath, he paid no heed. With a single swift dive, he set his course for the Long's palace. To his surprise, he found the palace strangely silent and empty, with no sign of the soldiers he had expected. With a heavy sense of desolation hung in the air, Puzzled, he went to seek the sea treasury and saw a sturdy, tawny-skinned man sitting amid piles of chests, his brow furrowed in worry. At sound of his approach, the man, who had turned out to be the Long Prince, stirred, dug a string of pearls from a chest and tossed them on the ground. The pearl of wisdom you seek is not mine to give, he said in a weary voice. Take these if you must and go. Surprised, the young man asked, the people on shore spoke of your fierce temper, of how you strike men with your thunder or flood entire lands for the smallest slight. The Long Prince shook his head. The flesh of mortals holds no savor for me. Think you that I am some petty Yao Guai to wreak havoc at my own whim? No, I will not dare call forth the smallest storm save at the bidding of those higher. Idle talk, all of it. My own sire was condemned to the bite of steel for one trifling error. We Longs, though our hearts are true as any, are treated with such injustice. The young man said, I heard of the Long King's plight, a grievous injustice indeed. Is it for his sake that you find yourself in such reduced circumstances? Seeing he was no mortal, the Long Prince said, Precisely. I have no wish to meet my end upon the Lung slaying Terence. I asked a fortune teller, and he said if I hide well and kill some westbound monkey, I may yet atone for my misdeeds and restore my honor. The young man pondered this. A fortune teller, you say? It was the words of a fortune teller that led me to this place. There might be some strange design at work in this meeting of ours. Why not go with me to where I come from? It just so happens to be on the very road that leads to the west. The Long Prince was overjoyed when the young man added, I ask no small price, however. All the treasure in your hoard, they must be mine. Since the day of the young man's arrival, fewer and fewer were those who sought to plumb the river's depths in search of the pearl. Later on, the tools of their quest were one by one set aside, and in time the tales of the Long Prince far below and the pearl of wisdom he guarded were no longer spoken of. Interesting. Oh, I'm missing iron sand. Anywho, that'll be it for today. I would go a bit longer, but I have a device in each charging, and the controller is taking up that slot. So I will see you tomorrow as we go deeper into the yellow. Well, actually, deeper into the yellow sands. I will see you then. Good day and goodbye.